We are GearShare, an outdoor gear rental company through peer-to-peer sharing. Now, how did we come up with this idea? About 4 months ago, Meredith was in my room and she was going snowboarding one weekend. Only problem is she didn't have a snowboard or helmet or skis or boots or binding. She said, "Hey Dom, can I borrow your snowboard or your gear?" I said, "Absolutely. You can rent it from me." Of course, I didn't charge her any money, but what I gave her was my equipment, but besides that, I gave her an experience. So market trends show that Americans are trying to stay active and incorporate more physical fitness in their daily lives every day. The only problem is if they want to get into our outdoor activities is that the pricing is too high. So if someone wants to rent or someone wants to buy equipment, it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to enter the market. Likewise, if you want to rent, they're getting low quality gear. Lastly, there's no easy way to communicate with these renters or buyers. So GearShare has a solution. You're able to list gear at any price you set and for any period of time you want. Also, if you want to rent gear, you can select what gear you want for whatever price you want. So we solved the solution through word of mouth, and with the experience they get, we're hoping to boost our company's success.
You're probably wondering how many people rent ski equipment every year. Right now, there's $220 million in sales annually just in the snow sports rental market in the United States. 5.5 million users, and the best part, Vail Resorts says that they make $12,000 in revenue every year on each snowboard they rent out. And they can rent that snowboard for 2 to 3 years, 2 to 300 uses. It's really not that much of an investment for them. How many people go camping every year? Well, right now there's $3.8 billion in discretionary income for them. There are 40 million campers, and 20% of them have never gone camping before. So what they do, they don't have a tent, they don't have a sleeping bag, they don't have a stove. GearShare solves that problem.
So how does GearShare work? We'll use an example with Bryce and Matt. Bryce has a snowboard that he wants to list on GearShare and sets his own price and how long he wants to lend it out for. Next we have Matt. He goes on the next day after Bryce is posted and searches GearShare's inventory. Both users' contact information is exchanged, and both Bryce and Matt set a location, date, and time of where they want to exchange the gear. Next, Matt has the best experience he's ever had up in the Rocky Mountains, and the next day, they return their gear and sign the return contract. Lastly, they use our dual rating system between each user to ensure accountability across the user platform.
So how are we going to get people to use GearShare? Right now, we are reaching out to universities because that's Generation Y, 18 to 34 years old. They're really involved with social media. 76% have a social media account, 74% have a smartphone. So we're going to start marketing to them. We also plan on doing word of mouth. That's how peer-to-peer rental businesses succeed, through word of mouth. So we're going to make incentives for the buyers and users to share with one another, financial incentives as well as sharing incentives on social media. We also have a connection at the Olympic Training Center. They have an accelerator program starting for businesses related to sports. And so we plan on incorporating our business idea through their accelerator program very soon.
So we all know there's competition for every business, but for us, nobody can even compete with our pricing and our product insurance. And bigger retailers like REI, they have insurance options, but they're too expensive. Nobody wants to buy a snowboard that's 3 to 5 years old when they can rent, something from another peer that's brand new at a fraction of the cost. Likewise, in the upper spectrum, we have Gear Commons, who's very similar except in pricing, but they don't offer any kind of insurance option. This puts a lot of liability on the user, whereas if we offer insurance like we do, we can take care of all those dings and dents, and the user has nothing to worry about. No other company does this.
So what makes us the best? We're the best because we have insurance. And we have talked with multiple insurance companies who are familiar with our business model and willing to work with us. Also, people are going to get higher quality gear. They're not going to get that generic, boring gear from the rental company that's been used a lot, that's one size fits all. We're going to make it a better experience for them. There's an incentive for both ends of the spectrum. The user as well as the renter are going to be able to profit or save money from our experience. We also make it easy. You create a profile, you list your gear, We make it really easy to relist, and we're going to make it really easy to find somebody in your local area who would like to use your gear. And at the end of the day, everybody feels good. And everybody feels good because they save money, they have peace of mind, and they're having better gear and a better experience. So where are we today? This idea came out in January 2015. So we know that this is a young idea, a young business, but it hasn't stopped us. So we go to a military academy and we have a lot of rules. One of them is you cannot run a door or a business out of your dorm room. So what we had to do is we had to get permission to run a beta test. And so we did it for one weekend, and we emailed 1,000 of our classmates and said, who wants to rent GoPros out to each other for a weekend? We got 10 users. They would have never connected without GearShare. And they were really happy and really excited. And people come up to me all the time, they're like, hey, I need a snowboard for the weekend. I'm like, I know I can't do that right now, but we'll help you out later once we graduate. So in order to not get kicked out and graduate on time, we stopped our beta test. And we went to social media, so we have an Instagram account, created a lot of buzz at our school, a lot of buzz with our friends all over the country. And we have also surveyed 120 people. So when we go to the mountains for the weekend, we take surveys, we're annoying people in the gondolas at the lodges saying, hey, would you like to do this? 51% said yes, we would love to. Here's our contact info. When you launch, let us know. And so that gets us to our landing page today, where we are collecting information on users so that we can contact them once we are able to actually launch this business upon graduation. So our future, as I've said, we've had a very successful initial test, and we validated our market. In the future, we want to see a website and application where people can actually go and share their gear very easily with each other. Like I said, we intend on going into universities. We have contacts with local universities, as well as bloggers who are sponsored by outdoor companies. We're going to be sharing it through the media and press that way, and we have contacts with ski clubs all over Colorado who will start sharing our idea once we have that application down. In 24 months, we see ourselves moving to 100,000 users and getting partnerships with people like Patagonia. Patagonia's CEO has already said, if you are not using your gear, put it on eBay and make sure you give it to somebody who's actually going to use it, because I want my gear, my equipment being used all the time. So we're creating a platform that's going to make that even better for people. Everybody's going to be able to wear that nice Patagonia jacket. People are going to be making money on both ends of the spectrum. And that is GearShare, and so we hope that you will follow us in the next 6 months and come along on our journey, and go Air Force, beat Army.
Thank you. Hey, hi.